guess I should have got it set up prior to this, but whatever, you're here now. Welcome.
Check it out. Venmo's now available for...
Venmo's available. Cool. Okay. Terry Woodson, thanks for coming to the stream. Okay. My PCP filled out a DBQ for my foot and ankle. Is this considered new evidence for my supplemental claim as a DBQ better than a Nexus? I'm going for direct service connection, currently not secondary. Yeah, not service connection for anything. It depends on the reason for your denial. I'm going to assume you were diagnosed. I want to know what your in-service event is. Okay, so what were you denied for? What's your in-service event? Generally speaking, yes, a private DBQ is good enough. It's new and relevant evidence for your supplemental claim. The question is, does it combat the reason for your denial? I don't know that based on what you said. But yeah, okay. Dane Ringman says, what's up? Welcome to the stream. We got Cubano says, what's up, Clay? Thank you. Appreciate that. Jorge Safari says, hello. I've been rated at 0% for an upper left abdominal. It's painful and I have to be conscious of guarding it. What else can I do? What is your, Jorge, can you tell me your diagnostic code for that? Just specifically? All right, we got some members in the chat. Option C, what's up? Welcome to another stream. Appreciate that. We have Mebster12. What's up? Welcome to the chat or the stream. Mebster12 says, hey Clay, are ankles and foot condition stackable? Yeah, you can be rated separately for your ankle and your feet. Ankles are going to be range of motion, right? Your foot's going to be whatever that condition is, like pes planus, plantar fasciitis, whatever. You can only have one foot condition, so the VA will take the higher of those ratings. So if you have both flat feet and plantar fasciitis, whichever is rated higher, that's what the VA will go with. And we got LG in the chat. What's up? What's up, brother? Hope all is well. How do I find out what priority I am? Simply put, I would just call the VA, LG, for VA healthcare type stuff. Okay. Tom DeBomb says, live in Nova area. All right, same. Nova's Northern Virginia. These CMP exams have been getting worse and worse. Got a lawyer now. They found 9 issues with the VA. Wish me luck. Hey, I'm wishing you all the luck, man. Wishing you all the luck. Jeremy Bryant, do you receive back pay from the intent to file date? In most cases, yes, but it depends. Not always, okay? But in most cases, you do. Probably the most common reason veterans won't is because it's a change of diagnosis. Matthew Coral says, I have a higher level review for migraines. It's secondary to sinusitis. They did not associate aggravation. What's your thoughts? My thoughts are, it sounds like a duty to assist error. And when it comes to secondaries, man, CMP exam, you're really going to find CMP examiners fall short when it comes to secondary claims. That's my opinion. Okay, but from everything I've seen, that's where you really find these examiners fall short. Let me be right back. I want to check on something real quick. All right, all's well. Make sure my daughter wasn't dead. Okay, now that I'm back, if you get value from these, I would really love you forever If everyone could just hit the like button, it helps me out. Ah, there she goes. She's not dead. Okay. Cubano says, my question is, I was stationed at NAS Whitby in the seaplane base in the 90s. It's now listed as a Superfund site. How do you go about submitting for diabetes that I've developed from it? Yeah, so you could just submit the claim directly. I'm not sure on that base and that claim specifically, but if your exposure to whatever it is led to your diabetes, then you can absolutely claim that. You would just submit the claim. The VA would do the VA stuff. That would be on the terror side of the house. That's it. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. I guess step one would be go find a VSO, and they'll handle it from there. S. Ferguson says, hello, what's up? J. Sweep says, any ways to get my C file faster? Nope. Nope. There's no way to get your C file faster. The going rate is about 6 months, 6 to 9 months. Been waiting 2 months so far. Do I need C file to have private Nexus and DBQ done for it to be actionable and sufficient? Yeah, when you get a, you don't necessarily need your C file. The provider for the Nexus and the DBQ needs your evidence. Now, ideally, that's going to be from your C file, because who the heck has their service treatment records and their VA medical records, right? The C file is going to be clutch. I would recommend every veteran submit their C file to that private provider for the Nexus and DBQ. You don't have to do the entire C file, just the relevant evidence, right? So like blood records, if blood records don't apply to your claim, there's no reason to send your blood records, right? Okay, so Daniel Gillen says, can a direct claim that has been denied be changed to a secondary during a supplemental? Yeah, so whenever, this is a huge misconception from veterans, is whenever you submit a claim, the VA will look at all avenues of service connection, right? So let's say you submit sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. The VA will look at sleep apnea direct. You'll probably be denied for that. The VA will look at sleep apnea secondary to PTSD. 50-50, you'll be denied or not, really depends. The VA could also look at TARA, right? They could issue a TARA exam and deny you for that. So really, that decision letter could have a potential of 3 denials, and you didn't, and all you submitted was a sleep apnea secondary to PTSD in that instance, okay? So the VA is going to find that's their duty to assist. They are finding any and all avenues to service connection, excuse me. All right, William Sordo says, thanks for what you do. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm rated for pain on my fingers, right hand. I also have carpal tunnel syndrome. Can I be rated separately for peripheral nerves in the hand? What about my right wrist? So the whole arm, you can have one rating for when it comes to nerve damage, right? And the VA would take the highest of the ratings. Summer fine to you? Yeah. What's up, Eddie boy? Little Eddie boy. Hey Clay, I submitted a VA disability claim last year through IDES and received an 8% rating. I'm still active, but I've recently been diagnosed with depression, sleep apnea, GERD, and diabetes. You think I should submit these claims now? Sure, wait till I'm separated. If you can do it now, do it now. There's no reason to wait at all. Carlos Sanchez, I want to say thank you for doing everything. Thank you, appreciate that. I have flat feet, 10%. Gonna claim plantar fasciitis, think it will get approved as secondary. Yeah, so foot conditions cause other foot conditions. The question is your plantar is going to be higher than 10%? It could be 30%, who knows? Or 20. I think the plantar fasciitis rating scale is 10, 20, 30 for unilateral and bilateral. Ace Duncan says, I have hemorrhoids at 0, but with the new change, it will be 10%. Do I need to submit new evidence or can I use the old evidence? So the VA is going to rate your current symptoms. When it comes to something already being service connected, that was back then. When it comes to the percentage given, it's always current symptoms. Always, always, always current symptoms. For the changes for any changes coming down now, May 19th, or later on, you absolutely, I would recommend you submit evidence with that increased claim. Jamie Lee says, does a letter from a chiropractor carry any weight for DDD increase? I'm not going to say, it's so funny you asked that. I just posted a video. It's up for members right now. It's scheduled to be posted. Let me actually see when that's scheduled to be posted, because I want you to watch that. It's going to explain it way more in depth. So that is scheduled to be posted May 2nd, whatever day that is. May 2nd, okay? Chiropractor. In my opinion, I'm going to say no, right? Can a chiropractor write a Nexus letter? Sure. Can you be service connected? Sure. So can a nurse. Am I ever going to recommend going that route? No, I'm not. I'm going to recommend you go to the top dog, right? So if it's like for your knees or your wrist, you're going to want to go see an ortho. Things like that. I've seen yes and no on different sites. Yeah, that's the answer. The answer is yes and no. Would I pay for it personally? No, I would not. I would just go to the top dog in that field. That's not a diss on those who don't go to med school. Just something else, okay? Crystal Carruthers, sorry. Just got decision on claim and they deferred PTSD for an exam, but they never scheduled one with the rest of the disabilities. Can we fight that? It's deferred. There's nothing to fight. Just the VA saying they need more time. That's all. There's nothing to fight there. Ooh, Big Paw says, I literally just watched that video, sir. Hey, awesome. Thank you for being a member. And if you are a member, you get some early... Everything's scheduled. I try to stay ahead as much as possible, especially with a full-time job. Ooh, it's my Darth Maul mask. Full-time job and 4 kids. I try to stay ahead so members can get the early access, right, for that. But hey, thanks, Big Paw. Appreciate it. If it was a good video, let me know. If it sucked, also let me know. I want to know if my stuff sucks or not. All right, Hello Aw says, will a DBQ work for connecting a diagnosis and service connecting? Yeah, so a DBQ, I would look at a DBQ as the foundation for the Nexus, right? So on the DBQ, it talks about the evidence that was reviewed, and then it goes straight into your diagnosis and then straight into the severity. And so if the evidence that was reviewed are like your service treatment records and you have complaints from service, that becomes the foundation for the Nexus to be built. Without that, without no foundation, you can't build a house that's going to last, okay? Same. Without the in-service event, there's no Nexus. That's why veterans are denied, because they don't have the in-service event. Okay. They have it under diagnostic code 7110. Sorry, Jorge, I didn't see that earlier. Let me just Google that. Google 7120. 38 CFR. Let's go take a look at 7120. That's 71.20. 7120. Varicose veins. Evaluate under diagnostic code 7121. Okay, so this is not going to be a straightforward answer. What I want you to do, Jorge, is Google 7121 38 CFR. You're going to pop up the eCFR. I'm going to show you what it looks like. That's 38 CFR. 7120, evaluate under diagnostic code 21. So 7121. And this is how your disability is rated, okay? So anywhere from 0, 10, 20, 40, 60, or 100. You'll have to look at those symptoms and figure out what you fit, okay? Yeah, that's pretty much how you figure out how you're rated. Okay. Alondro says, yeah, no worries. 7121 is what you want to look up for 38 CFR. Question, how does the VA evaluate sciatica? Yeah, so the same thing I just told Jorge, I'm going to tell you. And let's see. Let's look at sciatica. Here's what I'm Googling. Sciatica, 3.8 CFR, ECFR. You'll pull up the musculoskeletal system, and I'm gonna look up sciatic. Okay, let's look up nerve, really. It's generally gonna be 10-20% for nerve damage in your legs, generally. I've seen some higher ratings, obviously, for paralysis on the high end of nerve damage, like full 40%. Under paralysis, yes. But generally speaking, it's going to be 10-20%. All you got to do, though, Google sciatica, 3.8 CFR, ECFR. In fact, I think my video tomorrow is me going to Google and Googling stuff with that criteria. Let me see. Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow at 10 in the morning, it is a Borne style step-by-step of what I just did. Okay, so check that out. I've heard from another channel that combat-related exercise counts as combat PTSD. What do you think? Oh, you mean... it doesn't matter whether it's combat PTSD or non-combat PTSD. It doesn't matter at all. The question is, what's the stressor, right? And if your stressor is, you're doing a rush range, like a buddy rush range, I'm up, they see me, I'm down, at like the team, squad, platoon, company level, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that incident is, just talk about the incident, okay? Did a training accident occur? Then sure, right? It doesn't matter if it's combat or non-combat related. That has zero bearing on anything whatsoever. Just look at your stressor. Can you improve your stressor? Look at your symptoms. Look at your diagnosis. Be diagnosed. Submit the claim. All right. Snyder Health says, hey Clay, if you try to get a higher percentage after your initial decision, is there any threat of a static condition being lowered after they reopen your records? Yeah, so if you have a static condition of mental health at 70 and you put in an increase for mental health, they're going to evaluate your current symptoms, and you could absolutely be decreased on that for sure. Snyder Health says, and is there any possibility whatsoever of submitting 19 claims and not having a C&P exam? I mean, if all your records are spot on. Theoretically, yes, but how the VA schedules unwarranted C&P exams all the time, never going to happen. Terry Klein says, love signing and supporting the TheCivDiv. Hey, I love you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. What's annoying is my phone doesn't show who's a member and who's not a member, so I have to have my YouTube's open. All right, Big Pause says, POV accident in service. Thank you for being a member. POV accident in service, rear end by civilian. Service records show ER visit, neck pain, strain, with follow-up 3 days later. Current diagnosis of chronic and shoulder rotators. Is that a claim? It could be a claim for sure. I'm gonna assume your neck pain strain is already service connected. If it's not, you should look at that. Okay, but sure, you absolutely have a claim, and it seems like you have a pretty good argument just based on that comment. All right, Bob Williamson says, I have a diagnosis for CAD and I'm PACT Act eligible. If when I file for CAD will approve, even though I'm not claiming heart disease, which is presumptive, I believe they are the same. I'll just submit the claim and it doesn't matter. If the VA's gonna do VA stuff, hey, no worries, Big Paul. The VA's gonna do VA stuff. If you have a condition that sprang from service, submit the claim. Right? Especially when it comes to like the nuance of what is and what's not presumptive. Okay. Will my DBQ help service connection for a disability claim? It could. It depends, right? Who did the DBQ? Did they review all your relevant records? All that stuff, all right? Were you diagnosed prior to the DBQ? That matters, right? If your diagnosis comes from a one-time visit, it's not as strong of a diagnosis as like from your primary or your referred care. Okay. Jorge Severi says, also under the decisions tab on e-benefits, what does it mean, active psychosis, mental? Yeah, psychosis is a symptom, very serious symptom. It sounds like you got some mental health issues happening. All right, Jessica Carroll says, hello, I'm about to go into inpatient care for mental health. I filed my new claim for mental health in March, and I'm pending decision now. Will my inpatient affect my claim? Probably not. Could it technically? And I'm gonna guess for a higher rating, assuming the condition is service connected. Now I'm guessing. I'm really speculating there because I don't know the situation in full, but generally speaking, that's my answer. All right. Stephen Vincent says, hi Clay. Awesome, Gavin. I see that. Hi Clay, I'm waiting on an appeal to a law judge and one claim that is an appeal waiting on decision with a finding error to assist. Last update was December, normal wait times. No one can answer timeline questions ever, and there is no such thing as a normal wait time with the VA, especially at the board. Clausel Ray says, I'm rated for tinnitus and I'm deferred for headaches. This is separate, not secondary. What is your take on this? Is deferral a good thing? So being deferred is neither good or bad. It's just not a thing. It just means the VA needs more time. So it doesn't mean anything else other than the VA needs more time. Hey, if you get value from this, hit the like button. I would love you forever. Okay. Rich Baker says, I have a CMP for my knees tomorrow. All right. Should I provide the examiner with a written statement? Ideally, all of your evidence was already uploaded prior to submitting that claim. All right. Now, can you walk into the examiner's office and give them a statement? Sure. Are they going to read it? I don't know. Depends on that examiner. All right. Are they even going to take a look at it? I don't know. Depends on that examiner. Have you called the CMP exam company and asked them if you can upload evidence just to make sure that they have it all? Right? If you're walking in on a one-time visit with a statement, which a statement doesn't mean, it means diddly squat. I know YouTube likes to say statements are life-changing. They're not. They mean, okay, statements are dog water. Now, they do carry some type of weight depending on many, many, many factors when it goes to the board. Other than that, statements are dog water. Okay? Dog water. Primal Cajun, thank you for being a member, says the VA site has a calculator. You're at 92% for the calc. Oh, you're answering another veteran's question. Awesome. Cool. Cool beans. I use, and I don't have a partnership with them, but I use Hill and Potton's calculator. It's super easy to use, and it has a bilateral factor there. So, all right. Crystal says, if intent to file was May of 23 and filed January 24, should PACT Act disabilities awarded be back paid from August of 22? It depends on a few factors. Okay, it's not a one size fits all. When did the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. Craig J09, why don't you edit these nuts? Okay. All right. Teddy Woodson says, my denial is Nexus related, which I don't understand. A denial is Nexus related, which I don't understand, because they said it had its onset in service, identified you've been diagnosed with disability, diagnosed with left ankle sprain. You haven't chosen a qualifying event, injury or disease onset. So you have the in-service event. Yeah, you have the in-service event, and you have the diagnosis. Generally speaking, that's a higher level review, right? Now, there's a ton of factors in there, like what was your claim condition? So just because you sprained your ankle one time doesn't mean that you had a condition, you know, a year or two later. You have to have a current diagnosis. And you have a diagnosis of left ankle sprain, which is good. You have the in-service event. Okay, that's good. But what is your claim condition? If it's left ankle something, you might want to do a higher level review. And I'm taking a lot of guesses there because there's a lot I don't know. All right, a new you awakened says, I subbed for next letter from my pulmonologist for ILD. I was stationed in a presumptive location. They still sent me to a CNP. My appointment was short. Is that normal? Generally speaking, for TARA exams, which still require an opinion, so it's not really presumptive, yeah, the exam's going to be very, very short, okay? Generally speaking. All right, Anthony says, I have a ACE exam coming, submitted for FDC. Why are they doing an ACE exam? Because the VA likes to schedule unwarranted CMP exams, and it sucks. It's not right. All right. My wife texted me. Okay, I need to do something really quick. So let me do this, and I will get back to answering questions here in a second. All right, dude. When the wife texts, you got to answer, okay? All right. Let's see. GERD, IBS, file now or wait recently diagnosed. Depending on your in-service events, if you have the in-service events, go ahead and file now. There's no reason you wouldn't. Rob Oakletree says, if a presumptive claim is turned down, can a CMP exam be requested by the veteran? No, it cannot. And if it's presumptive, you need a diagnosis. Dr. Sharma has a long wait list. Yeah, he does. Can I recommend anyone else? I don't know anyone else personally, but Google is a wild tool. In fact, that video I talked about posting on Thursday or Friday goes over how to search for Nexus letters, so be on the lookout for that. S. Ferguson says, hi Clay, Mark Pope, the Pope, right? Great pick for UK basketball. Yeah, I am on the fence. I really liked Calipari. I didn't like the one and done thing, but I do think that's the era of basketball we're in today. Awesome, Ferguson. Right, Frank Sharshell says, I'm very slow, or I'm not very savvy on this stuff. How can I send a donation? I don't see anything to click on. I don't know, actually. I do not know. Storekeeper, how do multiple secondaries add up for a risk claim? Is there a max risk rating? Risk? Good thing you asked, because look at this. I'm going to go to CivDivOnline.com, and there's a whole video on everything you need to know on how the VA rates the risk. Entire video. It's largely going to be 10%, right? But my risk is service connected. You can see that scar there. So I have a percentage for my wrist, a percentage for the scar, and a percentage for the nerve damage, okay? But let me just scroll down to where we find shoulders and arms. And look at this bad boy right there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See that? Bam! All you need. CivDivOnline.com. It's a one-stop shop for any questions you got, hopefully. Okay. Real 440 Ford says, hi Clay, can you use the symptoms of the medicine you were given by the VA for a claim? You absolutely can, okay? So that counts as current symptom severity, and a current diagnosis. In your VA medical records, it would come out like an SCT code, which is important, which is only one of the big three. You still need the in-service event, right? So let's say you're taking medication for migraines. If you're doing a direct service connection, what is your evidence from service? Medical evidence would be pretty awesome, but there's also evidence other than medical of that claimed condition. I have no idea what condition you're talking about, but yeah, it seems like you have the current diagnosis already. Option C, thank you for being a member. I definitely appreciate that. And on top of that, thank you for donating. Appreciate it. Option C says, Clay, thanks for Dale K. Graham. Filled out intake 30 days ago and got response last week from co-founder. I like their vibe and customer service, good feels. Yeah, so Dale K. Graham Veterans Foundation is an accredited VSO out of Oklahoma. They help veterans nationwide, and you can sign up with them from the comfort of your couch. They are a solid VSO. I used to do some stuff with them back in the day. I kind of shifted gears and really focused on myself, but they're still a solid, absolute solid VSO. All right, thank you very much, Option C. Appreciate that. Cass Richards, thank you so much for the super sticker with the pink dude and the backward snapback. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate that. All right. Tom DeBomb says, I have been getting doctor opinions. How come these ASPAs always trump them? They don't necessarily, I wouldn't use that language, okay? Not that you're wrong. It depends on the context of the Nexus, the context and contents of the Nexus first. Thank you for being a member, Jason. Appreciate that. And also, there's tons of things that I just don't know, right? But opinions really come in clutch in denials. That's why I always recommend veterans not use them up front. Use it for denials, and then secondary claims. There's no way I can speculate for your situation, right? But if you submitted your claim with an opinion and you know it's a good opinion, and it's backed by evidence and everything's there and everything is solid, immediate higher level review is what I would do, right? That'd be step one. Worst case scenario would be hire an attorney. Jason Bowen, thank you for being a member. Members don't really, I don't have too much stuff for members because remember all this is, I don't want to give an advantage to anyone. And so all members get is you put a chat up, I'll read it no matter what. And then I answer your comments. And then I also have like an early access for whatever videos I have posted. So for instance, this week I have, as of at this moment, scheduled to post, boom, 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 boom. I have 4 videos this week scheduled to post. And so members can see them now. And that's pretty much what members get. So thank you very much for being a member. Appreciate that, Jason. Ask me your quick question. Okay. Timothy Veach says, on deferments, you will be back paid, correct? Yes, you will. Back to the intent to file. And you do need to stay on top of that, though. The effective dates are wrong. I see a lot of wild effective dates out there, so stay on top of it, okay? I'm at 90 with 9 items deferred. If I hit 100, will I be backdated to the initial claim? Totally depends, right? But let's say you're at 90% January 1st of this year. You got deferred, and in 6 months from now, you get 100%. It will be backdated back to January, right? Because January, you were at 90, and you should have been at 100. And so you'll be back paid the difference from 90 to 100, whatever that amount is. Your situation will dictate that, obviously. But yeah, you'll get back pay. Assuming the service connection of those disabilities increases your rating. All right. Mr. Hello says, what's the benefit of being a member? Hey, perfect timing. Just explain that. There really isn't no benefit, to be honest with you. It's more so just support. We should probably start there. Okay. Jason Bowen says, I was just denied bipolar depression secondary to tinnitus. have VA evidence and independent medical opinion, 2 CMP exams, both said less likely. All right, Jason, for you, what's the contents of your independent medical opinion? Who's it from, right? Do they use evidence, your evidence, to show that your bipolar and depression, let's just say mental health, is secondary to your tinnitus? If that's the case, then it's solid. It sounds like a higher level review, okay? Now, I'm going to be real with you. This is one of the reasons why I hate YouTube, which is weird because I'm on YouTube, is everyone talks about secondaries to tinnitus. Everyone talks about it, right? It's the Lynch claim, tinnitus can get you 100%, right? Let's breathe for a second. It's not really the case, but it can certainly help, okay? And so the question is, does your tinnitus aggravate or cause your bipolar and depression conditions? That's the question. But if you have a solid IMO, generally speaking, I'll do a higher level review. And sometimes you have to get an attorney involved. Sometimes. Clay, do you have any insight on the VES process? Yeah, they're one, it's open source, so you can Google. VES has like their, I'm just gonna call it a playbook. They have their guidelines online. They're just a CMP exam company. You can go through them for your exams. Okay. Bum, ba, bum, bum. All right. Eduardo says, are estimates dated given by Vera accurate at all? No. Peter Damiandis, sorry, I canceled a CMP exam due to family emergency. VA was notified. They said call when I'm ready. They rated me anyway. Denied. I want my CMP HLR with a statement from me. Yeah, I would definitely do a higher level review. That kind of sucks, man. You know, the VA's process is not, it's very easy to bash the VA, but their process is not as clear cut as you would think. There's a lot of moving parts and too many chiefs, really. Okay. I was diagnosed with chronic sinusitis by a private ENT. However, they did not do any CT scans or x-rays. If I file PACT Act, can a CMP deny me? X-ray is negative. So you have the diagnosis. It's chronic, all right? Assuming you read the PACT Act criteria for that, you're going to have to upload your private records from your ENT. But yeah, submit the claim, man. I wouldn't worry about anything else. Can they deny you? Not really, based on this comment. Okay, we're really talking about symptom severity at this point. It wouldn't be a bad idea for you to get a CT scan prior to. Do your intent to file though. All right, Real 44 says, hi Clay, can you use symptoms? Oh, we answered that one. We answered that one. All right. Rogue Wave Diecast says, so I'm one of the many veterans who don't have medical documentation from my time in service. Welcome to the club. What is the most foolproof way to get conditions I'm suffering with now service connected? Yeah. There is no, I got you, Charles. There is no foolproof way without medical evidence from service. One, I think we should address that head on, okay? Meaning you already have an uphill battle, and without medical evidence, you really have an uphill battle. I don't know when you left the military. I'm going to assume it was a while ago. Time becomes a factor in there as well. So just to be very straight with you and not give you baloney, no foolproof way, okay? You're kind of in the gutter. Now, does that make it impossible for you to be service connected? No, because there's evidence other than medical. I'm going to assume you would have presumptives just based on, you know, the GWAT era. So it totally depends. Now, if I were to give you a way to start, would be write down everything you're suffering from, okay? And then write down where you believe it came from, right? Obviously, military service. Write down when your symptoms started, what did that look like, start to get that picture, and then depending on your evidence other than medical, like deployments, training, exercises, whatever, then you can go ahead and submit those claims. Okay, that would just be like step one. Okay, Charles says, Clay, thanks for your videos and guidance. It's much appreciated. Last week, got my 100% PNT. Awesome, Charles, and thank you for being a member. I definitely appreciate that. I hope that, lessens the financial burden on your life for you and your family, man. That's awesome. Congrats. Alan Gimrig, thank you for being a member, says active duty, after hours POV, accident rollover, and 95 per medical records. X-ray was all that was done. I was discharged shortly after the accident, a month or two. Self-treated with over-the-counter meds. My doctor is willing to do a Nexus. Is this an uphill battle or normal? I was always told if it didn't happen during duty hours, it wouldn't count. No, that's not true. It still counts. You have the X-ray. I don't know what condition you're talking about. I'm going to assume it's a musculoskeletal condition. But if your doctor is willing to do a Nexus for free, 1,000%, I would hop on that train and submit the claim. All right, John Brown, thank you very much for the $3 donation. I appreciate that. With a super sticker, we got a, I don't really know what that thing is, but I appreciate it. I don't choose the stickers to come on here, by the way, but that one's funny. Okay. Jay Henson CC says, can you tell me what my overall rating is? Someone did that. I think it was 92%. Someone did that in the chat already. You could just use the internet. All right, W says, I was trying to claim MST in the Navy and never came forward and made a report. How do I prove I was forced out due to an attempt of suicide? Your attempt at suicide would be the start of evidence for that MST claim, assuming those are connected. And so I want you to think of evidence like that. I was helping one veteran with an MST claim, just speaking with her and looking at her fit reps, which is a fitness report. It's an annual report that Marines have to do each year, annual. And when that incident happened, which wasn't reported on, when the incident happened, according to her, her fit reps took a very, very steep decline. So those were correlated. And she was able to use her fit reps, her performance evaluations, as evidence other than medical to support her claim. So think outside the box like that. You're already on to the right path, assuming your suicide attempt is related to the MST incident. Seek healthcare, by the way. Mario Travis says, ACE exam, good or bad? Neither. It's just an ACE exam. It's neither good, neither bad. It's usually done for secondaries where the veteran's already been diagnosed. Okay, like sleep apnea secondary to PTSD is probably going to be a ACE. Okay. Thomas Jones said, I suffered a neck injury in '84, but the back injury was the main issue, but now the neck is giving me issues. Can I claim this as well since it hasn't been recorded? You can claim it. I'm going to tell you that that's a really hard uphill battle because you're looking at age, right? As we get older, our bodies naturally get worse. And so now you have to combat the idea that your neck pain does not stem from service or does not stem from a service-connected disability. All right, Alex Robinson, if I did a supplemental claim and I'm awarded for an increase from 90 to 100, would I get retroactive pay for the difference between the two? And when would the effective date be from it if it's within a year? Totally depends, but in a perfect scenario, if let's say you had a claim January 1st of 2022 got denied, you did a supplemental, and then today, right now, that same claim was approved with a supplemental, you would get back pay from 90 to 100 all the way back to January of 21. In a perfect world, there's tons of factors going into that, okay? So it really just depends. A new you awaken, thank you for being a member, says, does the VA do background checks on the doctors that provide Nexus letters? I wouldn't say a background check. I heard they're throwing out letters. My psychiatrist was a former Army doctor for 30 years. I wasn't charged for my letter. Okay, awesome. I'm glad you weren't charged for that. The VA's not throwing out letters. Okay, that is I understand that makes for good clickbait, but they're not throwing out letters. That's evidence in support of your claim. Now, when you submit an initial claim, could the VA not account for your private Nexus and private DBQ? They could, absolutely. That would be wrong of them to do. So now you have the appeal process, assuming you're not service connected for that, like a higher level review in that instance, because the evidence is there. Okay. Donovan says, I just logged on. I'm service connected for tinnitus and hearing loss. Is it possible to get hearing loss rated at 10 under the new regulations? So there are no, well, I'm just going to say no, just to keep that very short. No. All right, Jay Henson says you can use the internet. Christian Ramirez says, all I have are my civilian and military records. What is the next step for filing a claim? Yeah, so you have your records from service and your current medical evidence, which is awesome. A lot of people don't have that. Now what you need to do is look at your current diagnosis. What are you currently suffering from? You need a current diagnosis. What's your evidence from service? And then go ahead and submit the claim, right? And these two become the basis for the nexus to be made by the CMP examiner. Don't overcomplicate the process. Make a list. Here's what I'm suffering from. Yada, 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 yada. My knees hurt. Okay. Then go through your evidence and say, what's my evidence for my knees? Submit the claim. Ferguson says, Clay, you're a veteran's veteran. Awesome. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you very much. Mario Santiago says, can you be an airline pilot while claiming a disability? You can. Now, there are some with the and I'm not an expert on this, okay, but I know the FFA has some strict policies with mental health, obviously, if you're flying an aircraft, right? So, you can deal with all that one. Anthony says, I have been diagnosed with migraines, and I submitted a fully developed claim. Secondary to PTSD and tinnitus, the VA scheduled an ACMP. Do you know why? Yeah, so the VA is notorious for scheduling unwarranted CMP exams, right? That's like what they're famous for. Tons of factors are going into this, so I can't really speculate, but giving you the benefit of the doubt that your DBQ and Nexus is totally awesome and complete, you shouldn't warrant that CMP exam. I would call the VA. Gavin Butler says, hi Clay, you said you wanted to know what happened to my claim. I submitted with a Nexus, 2 buddy statements, personal statement, excerpts from STRs. I got service connected in 70%. Thank you for your help. Hey Gavin, thank you. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Zam Bambino. I just watched Sandlot with the kids. Talking about the great Bambino. Okay. Should I include intermediate obesity for my sleep apnea to connected to PTSD? I'm 210 pounds, 5'10", but I would classify myself as obese because most of my weight is from weightlifting. Yeah, so if your weight does not stem from a service-connected disability, you being fat doesn't mean anything other than the VA is going to use that against you for sleep apnea, okay? So if you're going to use obesity as an intermediate step, it's got to stem from something that is service-connected, like does your PTSD cause you to eat and not work out? Doesn't seem that way because you're weightlifting, okay? Based on this comment, I don't think obesity is the route for you personally, and that's totally based on this single comment. I don't see anything else. just saying you might want to take a look at connecting those. All right, Pack Zen says, hey man, how's it going? What up? I recently got out and started the claims process within a month. Do you think I would need to do personal statement forms for all 28 claims? No. Statements are stupid. I'm going to make a video talking about how statements are stupid, okay? Statements are stupid. There are some claims I always write a statement for. Migraines would be one of them, right? Mental health, if you're married, then your spouse doing a lay statement, that's something I always recommend. But outside of that, those situation dependent, very niche situations, statements are dog water, right? What's your in-service event? What's your current diagnosis? Submit the claim. Those become the foundation of the net nexus made by the C&P examiner. Hedgie404 sucks. I did not delete your comment on the last video. YouTube deletes comments all the time depending on what language is being used. So I would ask you, what'd you say, dude? Whatever you said, Hedgie, you can say it here. I don't think they would be quick to delete it fast on live, but go ahead, Hedgie, say it here. All right, and I'll tell you if I deleted it or not. I don't think so. I did have to block 2 others. Jeremiah Thom, thank you very much for being a member. I appreciate that, brother. Okay, thank you very much. The 2 people I blocked, I'm not going to get into it, right? I'm pretty sure one of them was one of the dudes that reached out via Facebook, so wild. All right, Hedgie, 404, now's your chance if you want to say something. Go ahead and get it out, and I'll respond to you right here, right now. All right. Sean Cook says, can a potential Gulf War illness or chronic fatigue claim change other existing related claims? Maybe. Okay. How does the Gulf War illness chronic? Not necessarily for Gulf War illness, because no one knows where that comes from, hence the name Gulf War illness. Okay. It's an undiagnosed, it's a MUCMI. Okay, so it's a whole video on that. It's very, very weird and a little complicated. But for chronic fatigue, maybe. Just depends. There's lots of context there that I don't see. Hedgie, I'm waiting for you, big dog. I'm waiting for you. I gotta... Okay. Terrence says, anyway, I can check the status of my C&P exam. Yeah, through your regional office. Through your regional office. Okay, here's Hedgie. Hedgie says, I said that the other veteran trying to discredit other veterans' bad experiences, with him comparing his good experience to a bad experience with a civvy hospital, is throwing us veterans under the bus. I need to read this again. Hold on. The veteran discrediting other veterans' bad experiences, with him comparing his good experiences to the bad experiences with a civilian hospital, is throwing us veterans under the bus. Okay. No, I didn't delete that at all. I don't even know what video that's in reference to, but something I see in the veteran community, Hedgie, a lot, is veterans more so than anyone likes to invalidate other people, right? Saying, you didn't, my service was better than your service, or whatever that case may be. Why would he attack like that? I don't know, dude. I don't know, okay? I don't know why he would. All right, let's get back to answering some questions. The Cajun Fisherman, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. I applied for MDD secondary to that condition. Have you seen this type of claim before? No, I have not, okay? But if that condition, it's irrelevant. If that condition is causing or aggravating your mental health, it could be service-connected, okay? But to answer your question, have I seen a claim like that one specifically? No. Okay, let's look at Jan Melendez says, I literally just finished my mental health CMP exam like an hour, hoping for the best. I'm hoping the best for you too. The Smoke Pit says, would making the CMP exam part of a veteran's medical record solve some of the shadiness associated out there? I don't think so. Jason and I at Veterans Info Tab just did a episode on transparency from the VA. It's going to come out today at 5, which is in 2 hours and 19 minutes. So once that comes out, definitely check that out. I don't think that would be the answer, but we do talk about, because that's a VA health record, right? And a disability claim is a legal process, not a healthcare process. But could they make the information more available to veterans? Absolutely, and I think that would help. Jeremiah Thom says, as an active duty member, is it beneficial when doing BDD to submit a table of contents when the medical records are 2,000 plus pages? It wouldn't be a bad idea. I personally wouldn't do it, me personally. But I've had a few veterans actually kind of tab out their medical records and submit that with their claim, right? But if that's what you want to do, sure, that's fine. But you could. It's not required. Mario Travis says, when is your next live and how often? I have no idea, and I have no idea. With a full-time job and 4 kids, I kind of just do what I can when I can. Killian, thank you very much for the super sticker, which again I don't choose, but they say, this one says you're number one, like this. That's pretty funny. Okay. Christopher H. I'm sorry. Christian Ramirez says, how do I get a C file? You do a FOIA request, which really sucks. It's going to take a while. If someone has 100% P&T, does a 5-year rule or 10-year rule apply to them? You're P&T, so don't worry about it. Okay. Gavin Butler. I got you, Trey, in a second. Gavin Butler says, how do you decide between a higher level review and a supplemental to appeal on effective dates? I want to submit all the evidence I have, original from letter. Yeah, if it's only the effective date, it would be a higher level review, and you can do that online, super easy. You can do that online through va.gov for the effective date. All right. Ironor Productions, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you. And Ben Easterling with a $20 donation. Thank you very much, Ben. Ben says lower back condition and neck denied in 2017. Disc, AD, PT, Chiro, pain management, all on active duty for neck, lower back. 2018 rules change. Have CT, fibro, presumptive. What should I be claiming? That, Ben, can you... we're probably going to go back and forth a bit because this is a lot to take in. You were denied back and neck, and it seems like you have evidence from service of your back and neck. So you're going to have to do a supplemental claim, okay, for your back and neck. Now, it also talk about fibro. If you have fibromyalgia, I would just submit that. Don't worry about anything else. Submit that. I'm going to assume from the GWAT era, you fall into that category. So supplemental claim on your back and neck with new and relevant evidence, okay? There's tons of context here that I can't see either. And then the fibro I would submit. With your back, I would also look at nerve damage, your back and your neck, look at nerve damage in your arms, and look at nerve damage in your legs. And I would throw those on with your back and neck supplemental claims. Well, those would be initial claims. Then your back and neck would be supplemental. Thank you very much, though, Ben. If that answered your question, let me know. If not, feel free to chime in again, add some context, and I can give you a better answer. All right, Ricardo with a $10 donation. Thank you very much. Says, hello, going through BDD right now. Are there maskers or wickets for each claim? If so, how do I find them? I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm going to assume you mean how the VA rates each claim. And yes, there's a few ways. The video that comes out tomorrow goes over how to Google and use 38 CFR. You could also go to CivDivOnline.com and scroll down. You'll see mental health or arms or back. You can click that link and that would shove you to a video and to another more readable or digestible version of 38 CFR. So both of those would be fine. I assume that's what you're asking. And then we have Desmond Kennedy with the $5 super sticker. Thank you very much. It's waving at me. I'll wave back. Thank you, Desmond. Appreciate that. All right, Daniel says, are you, after you were clear of prostate cancer, how often do they review other symptoms that you have? I'm not sure on the timeline for that, okay? But if you're rated for cancer, at some point they're going to do a reevaluation for residuals. Crystal says, back to the PTSD being deferred. When I asked, I meant, can we fight to not have a CMP exam? You can call the VA if you want to, but if the VA schedules a CMP exam, that's pretty much the end of it, right? Unless you have an attorney involved, you're at the VA's whim. Squall 1800 says, been in PFD since January 11th. Should I call? Yeah, I would make some calls, man, for sure. Christopher H says, if someone has 100% P&T, 5-year rule, I already answered that one. Awesome, Greg. So Greg says, VA will only do routine future exams if your cancer is active or in a treatment phase, 100%. If you are rated on residuals, they won't look at it again unless you claim it. Thank you. All right. Antonio says, recently had the VA deny my claim, but in favorable findings said I was diagnosed with all my disabilities. Okay. I filed a new supplemental claim, and they scheduled more appointments for my claim. All right, so you have the current diagnosis, which is good. You're still missing the big three. What's your evidence from service? Okay. You know, you served 4 years, you've been out for 23 years, and your back hurts. Okay, well, you think your back came from old age, or you think your back came from military service, right? So what's your evidence from service to show that your back, I'm using back as an example, that your back condition stems from service? You got to figure out your in-service events, right? I would be curious as to what you uploaded for your supplemental claim. John Brown with the $1 donation. Thank you very much, John Brown. I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Okay, Ben, I see you back in the chat. Says, I have numbness, bilateral legs, one arm. Waiting on Neuroscience Center to do MRI. 6 months of PT, tons of x-ray, but all no issue. That's when they gave me fibro. Okay, so your fibro's looking pretty decent, actually, now with that context. I would definitely submit that. I'm still curious as to the reason for your denial for your back and neck. That prompts me to think about a supplemental claim for those conditions. Then, of course, with your nerve damage on top of those, because you've been diagnosed with those. So pretty easy secondaries from there, Ben. Yeah, but for your fibro, I would submit the claim. Okay. Delano Rocker says, got a Nexus letter in regards to my sleep apnea, which states at least as likely as not. You think that will work in my favor? That's a good sign, okay? There's tons of other factors that I just can't see from this comment right now. So you're heading down the right track, okay? Now my question is your Nexus, your private Nexus baloney? I don't know. I can't see it. All right. Singh says, I started my claim through DAV. Things were in motion. If I start doing delivery gigs like Instacart, will it affect my claim? No. Mario Chavez says, Henson, you're at 93% if you're getting... Ionic Fire says, I have 70% rating for mental health. If new proposed changes happen, should I submit for an increase? You should watch my new mental health video on how it's rated, because you have to make that decision for yourself. There's no way that anyone could give you advice on that, because we do not know your symptoms, right? But I could tell you right now, in the meantime, because we haven't heard any news on it. In the meantime, you can go ahead and start gathering the evidence to show cause for the increase. All right, the Smoke Pit says, we answered that one. I am going to block you just because I want to. Ibrahim says Free Palestine. Free Palestine, these nuts. All right. Okay. Teddy Woodson says, why would I be denied with the diagnosis and in-service event? Should the I don't. There's a lot of context here missing. I got you, Ben. There's a lot of context here missing. Okay, Teddy. But if you have the in-service event and the current diagnosis, I would absolutely, at a minimum, dig into that. It sounds like a higher level review. It sounds like that. It just depends on what the situation actually is. But generally speaking, you're in a very good position going into appeals. Okay, Ben says, they said no condition was found. Okay, so you weren't diagnosed in set 17, but in 18, I see. Yeah, I think just based on that comment, Ben, I think you have, I think you could get a more current diagnosis and submit that supplemental claim for your back and your neck. Someone said you were at 91 or 93%. The back of the neck with radiculopathy would be awesome, right? Much stronger than the fibro claim. I would still submit it all, but that would be my recommendation. Supplemental for back and neck, the secondary claims for the radiculopathy in each leg, and then the nerve damage in your arm, and then the fibro claim. Okay. Jason Bowen, thank you for being a member, says, which should VA use, positive IMO or negative CMP? So they're going to use both. Well, the technical answer is they're going to use both. The real answer is they're probably only looking at the CMP exam. You're going to have to look at your decision letter and look at evidence that was used to make that determination, okay? Yeah, if you're at 91%, Ben, you're in a good spot you have a road to 100. But yeah, Jason, it just depends. For anyone who's denied and submits a medical opinion in a DBQ, it's almost always grounds for a higher level review. Almost always. All right. For anyone watching this, if you get value from this, help me out. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Okay. JL, do you know how quickly priority process claims move or how it works? Yeah, they're prioritized, and there's not a single person in this world who can answer timeline questions. Dan Springer says, thank you, Clay, for everything you do, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just filed for PTSD. Thanks for all the info you provided. Hey, awesome. Wishing you the best, and good luck. I do have videos on mental health CMP exams if you want to check that out, and then how mental health is rated at 70%. I use 70% as the baseline there because you can go up and down from 70. All right, Robert Rodriguez, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that, man. $5. Appreciate that. I love that name, by the way, Autism Girl. Josh says, for skin conditions, how often is considered constant or near constant for injections? Well, how many injections have you got over the past 6 months? That'd be my kind of question. MB says, I'm at 80% for about 10 years. Is it worth trying for 100? Based on that comment, MB, the answer is no. What you should be asking is, are there any conditions that you can claim secondary, or are there anything you're already certified for that you can make an increase for? It's not, should I go for 100? It's, what can you be properly rated for? Okay? What can you be properly rated for? The second you start aiming for 100% is whenever bad things happen. Okay? Bad things happen. Last thing, I have migraine diagnosis related to PTSD. Migraine secondary to PTSD isn't, it's a better claim than secondary to tinnitus. I would also add that to your list, okay? Now with your back, your neck, your two radiculopathies, your nerve damage in your arm, your fibro, and your migraine claim, I wouldn't recommend any medical opinions. You're at 91, you could probably get there on your own. But yeah, I would go ahead and add it. Josh Brown, thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. And 000 says gifted 1 TheCivDiv memberships. Oh, awesome. Michael Erickson got the gift, I think. I really don't know how that works. Oh, John Brown, that's your 3rd super on a live stream. I appreciate that, man. Look at that. Michael Erickson got a membership from this other person. I think so. I don't really know what's going on. But he says, hey, Clay, keep up the good work. Hey, Michael, thank you. You keep up the good work. I appreciate it. The Cajun Fisherman, I've not seen anything on this before, but I filed for MDD, secondary. Oh, we already answered that one. How do I reach you to schedule a consult? You don't? Came here to hit the like. Thanks, Clay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Can insomnia be secondary to PTSD? Is that considered pyramiding? 1, considered pyramiding. 2, insomnia is no longer a secondary claim. David Piatek with VA Housing Education. What's up? Did I go through the crucible? I just spilled my Coca-Cola, so if that tells you anything, yeah. Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps, so. All right. Samuel says insomnia will just be considered symptom. No, he was answering that. Dan says, how often do you do live chats? I have no idea, man. It's kind of come and go. I work full time, and I have 4 children, and one of them's playing baseball right now, so I do what I can do. You're like very handsome. I don't want to block you. I know you're a bot, but based on what you said, but I'm sorry. It's all right, but thank you. All right. Kiko from the South. I've been out since 2005. I got a low rating, 20% to 10% conditions, back and feet. I recently got to 90 in July. They connected mental health and sleep apnea. Sciatic, can I get 100% PNT? Maybe, but again, we're not aiming for 100%. The question is, what can you how are you properly rated? If not, get properly rated. All right, I'll probably end the stream there. My daughter's waking up right now. USMC Big B, LG, thank you very much for being longtime fans of the channel. I appreciate that. I'll answer this last question. And then, oh, Neil. Hey, Neil, if you want to ask a question, you're a member, Neil, so if you want to ask a question, I definitely got yours. Just go ahead and type it up. I'll give you a few minutes. Richard says, hey, Clay, do you recommend paying VSOs? VSOs can't get paid, 1. So whoever you're paying is not a VSO. For Nexus letters, right? Now, if they are pushing you, if if the VSO is recommending a Nexus letter, then you're paying the provider, you're not paying the VSO. If that's what they're recommending, then I would go for it, probably. There's a lot of context there I can't see, right? Oh yeah, and thank you, LG, for being a moderator. Definitely appreciate that. Neil, SSD, any info? I don't deal with Social Security whatsoever. I'm hoping to get into that. Okay, I'm hoping. Just depends. Neil Conway, I'll give you a minute. You know what, Neil? Gats the Rocky, thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. Okay, Neil says, I'm working on filing. Thank you for being a member. I'm working on filing and have the standard Gulf War illness respiratory plus sleep apnea using QVAR for asthma recommendations. I'm going to assume you were in the Gulf War. All those would be presumptive, minus Gulf War illness. All those, well, your asthma could be presumptive. Your sleep apnea, yeah. Your sleep apnea would definitely be a TERA exam, and your Gulf War illness would be an MUCMI. I would just file those, right? I wouldn't overcomplicate the process. There's nothing we can do about it. Assuming you have diagnosis for all those, you're in a pretty solid spot, especially if you were in the Gulf War, okay? Tracy M, I totally forgot, actually, Tracy M. I'm glad you mentioned that. Not sure if you answered my question from earlier. What do I do if VR&E counselor isn't contacting me? I've been reaching out for weeks. Yeah, I've heard some horror stories on VR&E. I'm not really an expert on VR&E, right? But I will recommend a Facebook group to you, because there are people in there that are all over VR&E, okay? What is that, chapter 31, I believe? Yeah, chapter 31. Okay. I don't think there's a way I can get this to you, Tracy M. There's a comment there. But I'll show you a video of what it looks like. This dude is solid, okay? This Facebook group is called Disabled Veterans Chapter 31 Voc Rehab. There are some VR&E experts in that group. That's where I went to when I was looking to do the process for VR&E. I would be out of pocket if I said something that was wrong. So, all right. Other than that, that's all I got. Okay, Jamie, my depression anxiety case was 100% improved because of your videos. I'm failing further than MH, but may need TDIU follow-up. All right, Jamie, keep on it. Thank you very much. On that note, my daughter's crying.